respect the flag. That's all I can say. Okay, looks like it's a recording. Okay. Oh no, Corona. This is, should be a short video. What's that behind me, you say? I think it says Trump 2024. Make America great again. Unlike the Sleepy Joe, and his saying is make America last, is what their logo is. Anyway, this is about green energy. Who's up there? Well, the cat's meowing. Sounds like Kosh. Green energy. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. Green New Deal and all that crap, right? That'll destroy the economy. That's fine. Force everybody to buy electric cars. Poor people, low-income people, whatever you want to call the lowlifes, deplorables, whatever. But all the people that don't make a lot of money, that can't afford a new car, they're going to be forced to buy a new electric car by whatever year they're going for. People can't afford that. Okay? That's good for people who have lots and lots of money to spend $60,000 on an electric car. But that's not what this is about. This is about green energy, wind, and solar. Okay. You have California. This whole past summer, last year, they had blackouts and brownouts all over the state. Reason being is it was hotter than hell. How hot is hell, you may well ask, right? But anyway, it was really hot out in California, and they get a considerable amount of their power from wind energy and solar energy. The problem with solar and wind at its max, is that Kosh? The problem is at its max output is a max output. So when you put an extra load on it, the power generation cannot keep up because there's no backup. In other words, there's no, well, okay, it's producing 3,000, like Calico, uh-oh. This one's on me, and here comes Cutter. She's going to want to jump up on me. This is going to be interesting, people. But anyway, the problem with that is there's no backup. In other words, max is max. You can't just flip a switch and bring more power. So you had that going on all summer in California. You want to come up? I don't think you can, sweetie. Get squares on me. Anyway, getting distracted here with cats. Yeah. I don't know. You want to try to come up? I don't know if both of you can fit very good. Anyway, so then, this polar vortex, which is normally over the North Pole, dipped quite a ways south, all the way down to Texas. So, the Texas power grid, the Department of Energy in Texas, had a leeway of 3%. So in other words, of all the power that was being used, they had the capability of a 3% leeway, so if the power consumption went up, the power grid could handle 3% more. Well, the cold snap hit. Okay? And these people on the left that are like, oh, green energy, they're like, oh, well, Texas, 80% of their power comes from natural gas. True. But they lost a huge part of their power output. So you got 80% of your power is generated from natural gas. Then the other 23% because they have a 3% leeway, is from wind and solar. So the polar vortex moves in down there. Guess what? They lost the solar generation, most of it, because it's been cloudy for over a week because of the polar vortex. So they lost that power. The wind turbines froze up. It's just like a velometer on my weather station here. If the conditions are right, it freezes up where you don't know how fast the wind's blowing because it freezes up. So the wind generators down there froze up. So the majority of them are not working. So that means they have a deficit of power. That's why Texas has 13 million or whatever it is without power. People's houses are dropping less than 40 degrees. That is what you get. And keep in mind now, 80% of the power is from natural gas. So the natural gas power plants can't put out any more power than what they're putting out. Oil-fired power plants, you can, rank them up. But a natural gas supply system to the generators can only supply so much natural gas. So you can't just flip a switch. So anyway, so the problem down there is cloudy and the windmills froze up. And you have the, green energy people. Well, they have, wind turbines in Alaska. Yes, they do. But they're not froze up. If they do freeze up, they lose power. So the whole point is just to say that, I'm all for renewable and all that crap. That's great. But you cannot rely on the wind and the solar. If you did some research and checked the solar panels, the power output percentage of solar power is extremely horrible. It's not even 10%, meaning that a solar cell is less than 10% efficient, which is terrible. Elon's trying to update that. Hey, that's not a scratching post. What's the matter with you? Anyway, Elon is trying to make better solar panels. He's the guy who owns SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, the batteries for his Tesla cars. Anyway, he owns all kinds of stuff. Man is incredible. So anyway, that's the problem with green energy. It is not reliable. You're gonna have problems with green energy like Texas, like California. They can't put out more, and then if something happens, like in Texas, that's why so many people in Texas are out of power, because cloudiness, solar panels don't work, wind turbines froze up, some of the natural gas controls also froze up. So the natural gas power plants, some of them had to shut down because they can't get the natural gas they need. And they can't truck it in because the roads are ice-covered roads, and everybody knows that people in the South, when you get a little bit of snow, a little bit of ice, oh my God. Okay, and they've had a hard last week or two. It's been pretty nasty down there. So anyway, I'm just saying, which is fact, that green energy is not capable of enough power and enough power backup the nation, let alone Texas, let alone California. And California has always been ahead of the curve on green energy. So yeah, so there you go. That's what green energy gets you. And it's going to get continually worse. The more you rely on green energy, the more brownouts and the more blackouts. But think about how many millions of people in Texas that are now without power. And they're like, oh, well, we've had, green energy that shut down all their oil power plants. They closed them up. Coal power plants, they closed them up. Oh, they pollute too much. Yes, they pollute. Have them install scrubbers. Some areas they pump the they pump the pollutants back into the ground, and without fracking, if you pump out the oil and natural gas, yeah, you can refill it, pump the pollutants from oil power plants back into the ground, even natural gas. You can pump the pollutants from them back into the ground, in the ground to hold it, just like they did hold the oil for millions of years. So anyway, that's the problem with green energy. It's not capable of keeping up with the demand. You have a week of cloudiness, you have a deep freeze that freezes the turbines. Guess what? You just lost a huge part of your power grid. So that, pay attention people, that's what green energy will get you. Can you imagine relying on green energy across this whole nation? What would happen? Yeah, that's what would happen. You'd be losing power constantly. So anyway, that's my thoughts on green energy, and it's factual. You can research it if you want, but it's factual. That's what happened in Texas. That's what happened in California. Green energy does not work. I thought about getting a wind turbine for out here, but the cost of a decent one, they probably came down in price. The cost of a really good one to produce a considerable amount of power, because I consume a lot of electric. My electric bill is just astronomical. Ever since they put in the electronic meters. But anyway, I thought about putting one out here, but I could pay a whole lot of electric bills for like 10 grand, was roughly what it would cost by the time you get the mast, all the mounting hardware, get one that's big enough to supply my power demand, and the power company has to buy the extra back off of you. So yeah, on windy days, it would make a huge difference in my electric bill, but as soon as I put one up, the wind would quit blowing. So, but anyway, there you go. That's what green energy gets you. It gets you blackouts and brownouts. Look at California, look at Texas. That's what it got them. Thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't like the video, green energy people, BS comments on here, backing your side of it, go right ahead. But look at the facts before you do. Fact. Cloudy days, solar takes a nosedive. Not enough wind, takes a nosedive. There's no backup. When that energy consumption is high, wind and solar cannot make up any difference in the power grid. So, thanks for watching my video.